Back on Morning Mover, Citi is boosting its price target for the trade desk to $90 and has opened a 90-day positive catalyst watch on shares going into the company's next earnings report. Citi analyst is incrementally positive on the trade desk market leadership position after some channel checks and conducting a media buyer survey. Citi keeping a buy rating on the company. Keep in mind, shares of the trade desk down nearly 40% so far this year. Time now for Options Corner. Joining us to take a deeper look at the trade desk is Rick Ducat, lead market technician. All right, shares a little higher in the pre-market today, but significant pressure year to date. What are you watching here, Rick?
Yes, Diane, as you said, down significantly still since this large one-day drop that we saw in an earnings event here, underperforming both its own communications sector and the broader S&P 500 here, actually going into being less negatively correlated to the S&P right now, so almost moving in a more of a opposite direction from the broader index. So we can see when we look at our yearly chart here, our daily chart of 1 year, we can see that price has topped out around here recently, near the $80 level. That's where we hit our high after our last earnings event here. From there, a bit of a downward to sideways grind, though. You can see that price was staying mostly within the boundaries of this longer-term trend line that began with those highs near 140, 150, but with yesterday's session starting to break above, pushing above the trend line and the confluence of our yellow 21-day and orange 63-day exponential moving averages. All that's coming together right around 70. RSI, our momentum indicator, breaking out to the upside as well.
All right, Rick, thanks a ton for a look at that chart there. That's our Rick Ducat, lead market technician. Now to take us through an example trade, we've got Tom White, senior options contributor and co-host of Fast Market. So, Tom, it's on positive catalyst watch over at Citi for the trade desk, but under significant pressure year to date. How would you approach an example trade?
Well, the bar's low going into earnings. They report at the beginning of August on the 7th. So that's going to be a catalyst for this stock. Citi noted in their call to the upside about $90 per share that going into the earnings, they expect the stock to do better. Rick mentioned a couple levels there. So I looked at the implied volatility levels in here. IV percentile rank about the 35% level. So in the bottom, nearly 1/3 of implied volatility that we've seen over the last 52 weeks. So I looked at a directional bias. If you believe in this note, you think the stock's going to go higher, I want to avoid that earnings event in case the stock rallies into it and then it falls post earnings if those results aren't as good. So going out to the August 1st weekly cycle. So you've got about a month in this position, buying a straight call vertical here, buying the 73 strike call, and then against it to offset some of those costs. Rick mentioned that $80 level, which had been an area of resistance. Sell the 80 strike call against it. So a bullish $7 wide call vertical to the upside. You're going to pay roughly, if the stock opens up here about $73.50 where it's indicated, you're going to pay roughly about a debit of $2.50. There's your risk, $250 per spread. And it takes your break even up to the 75.50 level here. That's less than 3% above the current share price in there. So you don't need a monster move to the upside. You just expect this stock to continue to grind higher on this one. You're risking $250 to make a potential $450 on this position if it gets up to 80. And you have some flexibility as far as trade management goes also, because you can get out of this trade prior to expiration if you get the move to the upside that you want.
Oh, wow. That's looks like some flexibility there. That's call vertical example trade for the trade desk. Thank you so much for that,
Thanks.
Tom. That's our Tom White, senior options contributor, co-host of Fast Market. Thank you for joining us.